didn't, at the age of sort of 16, 17, when I was buying and selling a few cars and making some money, I didn't have the knowledge back then that I have now of what books were available. There was no Amazon really back. Well, it was about, but it wasn't as prominent as it is now. So So from the age of about 17, I think I came across a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which I read back then. It's one of my favourite books even today.
Do you know what? Just as you say that, I read that at this time of year every year.
New
Year's. It's a great way to start the year.
Start the year. Yeah. There's loads like that. I mean, that I won't sit here and reel them all off, but there's loads. Some really short books like As a Man Thinketh. The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Loads of really good, like classic business books that I say business, they're probably more mindset based books that have survived the times, but they are directly related to business people. They talk about Edison in there and Henry Ford and some real mavericks, that have kind of changed the world. So
Andrew Carnegie, that kind of
Andrew Carnegie, all guys that were seriously wealthy even back then. Sort of some of them billionaires back in the sort of early 1900s and sort of into the mid ages of that. But I think they're very, very well intertwined, these mindset books with business books. But as I was saying, even nowadays, there's some people you can just jump on YouTube and for free you can watch the videos of guys like Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins and Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and all sorts of people that it's free, it's available to anyone, and all you have to really do is sit down for half an hour with your headphones in.
Yeah,
I think what it builds inspiration, it builds motivation, which is fantastic. But the self-discipline has to come from within to make that habit.
Yeah, so you need to want it yourself.
Fit. Yeah. If it feels like a chore, I have to sit down now and spend half an hour watching videos. Don't do it, because that's not what it's about. It's about enjoying the process of learning, really. And everyone that I know that's hugely successful with them, they are absolute pros at that. They're just constantly learning. They're not naive to think they know it all just because they're multimillionaires, and some of them billionaires. They are still always learning, always reading, and open to the fact that they can learn from anyone. So I think it's a fantastic thing. It's a fantastic habit to bring into your life, to start reading books and to start watching videos like that.
And in terms of the book group you have, does that provide sort of, do you also have that kind of peer accountability as well? Like, so if you were ever you ever need to be brought up, or you see doing something in their personal life or their business life, do you kind of have that kind of like a peer mentorship where you say, listen, you need to drum down on this, or you need to be more focused on this? Or
so that the book club I have with my friends, there's 5 of us in that. It's a fairly close-knit group. We're all best friends, so we know each other very, very well. We give each other suggestions. We're not critical of each other. What we do is take it very seriously in that, if we agree to read up to a certain page by a certain date, that we make sure everyone turns up. Everyone has genuinely read it and made good and factual notes on what's involved. So, those guys take it very, very seriously. I'm also part of what's called a forum club, which is a group called the Supper Club, which is an entrepreneur network based out of London, where we go for suppers and we discuss certain challenges, if you like, and opportunities moving forward. I'm part of that. And like I say, the Forum Club, which I'm also part of, is a smaller version of that Supper Club, where we do hold each other very critically accountable for things that we said we would and wouldn't do, achievements and problems that you might be having in the business. We make suggestions and we agree actions from the back of that. And then we go back the next month and give each other feedback. So having that accountability it is important if you're facing struggles that you might not want to deal with. You can't procrastinate. So
what's the barrier to entry on the forum, for example? Is that you have to be at a certain level of success as an entrepreneur, or invitation only, or how does it work?
Yeah, well, there's all kind of different ones around the UK that I looked at before joining up to the Supper Club. The Supper Club is a barrier to entry of a minimum of £1 million turnover. So there's all different ones, like I say, that do and don't have entry requirements. That one worked for me because I felt that I could learn from people in there. There's some people in there that have achieved absolutely phenomenal things with businesses that are pound turnover businesses, even as we speak. So for me, it was about putting myself into a situation where I was probably one of the at the time lesser achieving entrepreneurs, and I wanted to kind of be at the bottom of that ladder. If I'm honest, I wanted to be around people that were overachieving in comparison to what I had, because it would make me step up. And I definitely advise taking that tact on it, because otherwise you'll learn less. If you join a club where you're one of the highest achievers, really, without being flippant, what are you going to learn from that? Probably very little. So I would definitely, if you're going to join a club, join one that's full of people that have overachieved in comparison to what you have, and it'll open your mind.
Yeah, and do you think that's like a base, that's a principle of success in itself, is to try and get around people that have achieved more, slightly further down the road? Yeah. I
mean, like you say, it's a principle, isn't it? You become the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So, spending time with people that have achieved. I'm not saying they're better people for any, just because they have achieved things, but it's about focusing on what you want to do.
Yeah.
And very fortunate in that, the people that are in that supper club, they're all really, really nice, down to earth people that talk about things genuinely. Sometimes things do go bad, and people talk openly about that. So it's not about an ego trip to go along and tell everyone how good you are. It's about talking about what you're struggling with, and what you want some help with. And that's the only way you're going to get anything out of those sort of clubs.
And is the forum a similar kind of setup, or?
Yeah, the forum is the spin-off of the supper club, for a smaller group of people at a time to sit around and talk about situations they're facing, that are people that are in similar kind of positions in terms of turnover, staff, headcount, and focus as to where they're going, really. So it's a lot more specific in that sense, and a lot more accountable. But like I say, there's hundreds of clubs like these around the UK, and I'd highly recommend, even if you join just kind of the Institute of Directors or all these kind of things, will only be a benefit. And you might think, it's going to cost me a few £100 a month. I'm not sure I want to spend that. Guarantee it's the best money you've ever spent.